Hey y'all, it is your girl Olenike Osibowale. Welcome back to another podcast episode. So this is kind of impromptu, just because I'm in the middle of watching this podcast episode. And this podcast episode is called, well, not this one. The episode that I'm watching is by Aubrey Marcus, right? And it's called A New Pattern of Sacred Relationship Emerges. Vailana, Alana, and Dr. Mark Gaffney. And it's basically a podcast episode that has stirred up the spiritual community. Specifically the white spiritual community. I'm going to be very honest. It's the white spiritual community that I feel like is an uproar. Now there are other spiritual figures who are not white that could be an uproar as well. No, there are, but it's not the amount that I have seen on the internet. So anyways, I have watched at least an hour and 54 minutes of it. It is 2 hours and 37 minutes, so I have roughly like 45 more minutes to go. And I was just like, you know what, let me make a podcast episode because I want to share my own personal thoughts about this because it's very interesting. So basically in this podcast episode, there's this guy named Aubrey Marcus, and he has two lovers now, two women who are lovers, Vailana and Alana. Alana is 28 years old. She is the new lover. Aubrey Marcus, let me see how old he is. How old is Aubrey Marcus? He's 44. That's not bad. Okay, so his wife is probably around the same age too, or close to that. So Aubrey Marcus is 44, Alana is 28, and Vailana is probably in her 40s or 40. So anyways, he talked about taking, like, him and Vailana have been together for a while. They've been open in a polyamorous relationship, and meaning she has the right to take another lover and he has the right to take another lover. They can be lovers for a moment or lovers for long term, but either way the honesty is there for the partners to communicate that. Now they have both taken on Alana as a lover, and Alana also has the right to take on a lover. But again, it's about open communication and honesty. And so first it was just going to be that. He was okay with that. She was okay with that. Everybody was cool with that. But then at one point in a podcast, he was in Egypt in a temple, one of the Isis temples, and he said what he thought was Isis. He never declared it was Isis. He said it may not have been Isis. He wasn't even sure that he will be impregnating both of them, both Vailana and Alana. This changes things because Vailana, his wife, kind of signed up for, yes, we can take on lovers, but I never thought that you would also impregnate somebody and have a baby with them, because that's another level. That's another level of commitment, years, that's a child. You know what I'm trying to say? It's different. So in the podcast episode, he talks about navigating how difficult it was to have that conversation with his wife and being honest about it, what her reactions were, and whether or not she wanted to stay in the relationship, because originally she signed up for a polyamorous relationship. Let me let y'all know this. She know who her man is. And what I love about Aubrey is that he is very honest and clear of what his desires are. Extremely honest, extremely clear. People can decide not to do it, not to be a part of this, right? So even if it's hard, because it is hard sometimes to be honest, he is honest and he is clear with those who he loves. So he told her he wasn't like jumping for joy. It was just something he felt like spirit gave him, and he was sitting with it for a while. He didn't even want to tell her, but he did because he's honest. And that shook some things up in their relationship between his wife and also their other lover, Alana. Throughout the whole time, Alana has been supportive. She's never been like, I'm going to take your man. Well, F Vailana, it could just be me and you. She's never been like that. She has been supportive of Vailana and her feelings this entire time, has really respected their two union that has been long-standing while she is new. She's supportive of their relationship as well as being a part of the relationship. So I'm listening to this podcast episode. I'm like, wow, this is really good. I'm having a great time, y'all, listening to this episode. I said, wow, they're being honest, they're being truthful, and they shared this episode out into the world probably like 3 weeks ago. Boy, the people up in uproar. They're like, oh, he's toxic. She doesn't want to be in a polyamorous relationship. Oh, the girl they have is a young girl. He has so much ego. What are you talking about? Radical monogamy. I will say in the episode, they started talking about this kind of construct being known as radical monogamy. But we have polyamory. Personally, I do not think we need to rechange things to another word. We don't have to call it radical monogamy. We can just keep it as polyamory because that's exactly what it is. But to each their own. Either way, the spiritual community is just an uproar, and it has brought up a lot of shadows in the spiritual community, just like how some men in the spiritual community use their knowledge of the spirit to seduce women and to manipulate women and decide that they don't want to be in a relationship, or say that they need years to be in a relationship, a faithful relationship. And so it's brought up a lot of things for the women. Let me just say that it's brought up a lot of things for the women. And at first I looked at some of the stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I can understand that. I can understand this, how there are some spiritual men in the community who have manipulated women into having sex with them, and just different things that cross a lot of boundaries. All that is valid, all that is true, that's real information. So I don't neglect that, and I think that this podcast episode is so powerful because of the triggers it brought up for people. But if you were just to go with the internet and what the internet said, you would not have gotten the truth of what they're expressing. It would have went completely over your heart, completely over your head, because you are so fucking triggered that you can't see the depth of this conversation. And I just want to say that I really enjoyed listening to this. This has been the type of honesty I have been seeking in a romantic partnership probably for the last year. Not that I'm actively looking, but it has been something added to my list in terms of the type of honesty I want with a life partner. Aubrey is very honest. He's not giving toxic masculine to me. He's not giving to be a know-it-all. He's completely fine. And when I say fine, this doesn't mean he's not jealous. He's fine with his wife and his other lovers seeking other partnerships, but he does get jealous. He does feel it, but he allows them to do that because he's allowed the same thing. And so people sit with their jealousy and they fight with it, or they like wrestle with it or think about it deeper as their lover is being with another lover. And it's not because he wants to watch his lover with another lover. They can go off and do their own thing he's not seeing, but he has to sit with, damn, I'm doing this because he wants to, even though it's hard. I have been interested in polyamory for a few years now. Something I've tried to explore. I think multiple times. It just never was the most healthiest way that I would explore it. And now I'm not currently in a relationship, but when I am in a partnership and seeking partnership in that way, I tell my people, hey, I'm interested in polyamory at some point. We can do monogamy for a few years, but at some point I know I'm going to want to open up the relationship because that is me. I've known this for a while, guys. Like, I personally do not think I'm only going to have sex with one person for the rest of my fucking life. And also, I've also learned it's not just a sex thing. Like, I can meet somebody out in the world in a partnership and be like, dang, I want to explore loving this person. Dang, I want to explore what loving this person could be like. But oftentimes, because of monogamy, people feel bad about it. People feel like, dang, I'm not supposed to want to desire to explore this person, because for me, it's never just about sex. Sometimes I just really want to be intimate with that person. A hug, a cuddle, really get to know them on a deeper level, even before sex even happens. But because of monogamy, I may hold myself back and be like, nope, only hi and bye. You know what I'm trying to say? Won't have those deeper conversations and won't cross the boundaries because I'm in a monogamous relationship. That's not for me, y'all, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with admitting that. A monogamous relationship is not for me for long term. I do want to explore polyamory with a partner that is fine, a masculine partner, a male partner, specifically. That is fine with me having other male partners and or female partners, whether that's sexual, whether that's intimate, and it doesn't mean I have to be fucking every single person. But for me, I let them know that in the beginning, right? And what I liked about Aubrey is he told these people from the beginning, hey, I have a wife, or this is our dynamic. He has not once lied to these people about it recently. And so as I'm watching this episode, I am seeing the depth, the truth, and the honesty that is brave. It's extremely brave to do this in this world. And I didn't know that this type of relationship talk and monogamy talk was so triggering for the females. Because that's what I feel like it has been. Very triggering for the women specifically. Because I feel like women have been fed this idea of the Prince Charming and this one person for the rest of my life, and that is it. And some people really desire that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that desire. But at the same time, it is not the only fucking blueprint of a relationship. And I think because people can't open up their mind to that it can be more than a sexual thing, it just hurts them so much that somebody can have their cake and eat it too. And I feel like people are really mad at Aubrey because he can have his cake and eat it too. And that shit, it don't mean it's easy.
You are about to have sex with your partner and they're an eater. As they are eating your, have them pray some sweet affirmations into your yoni. Your yoni's already sweet, with this pum pum candy. Now have them pray some sweet affirmations into your yoni. You guys can co-create together with that sex magic. Then as they are inside of you and you guys are having that orgasmic bliss, whisper sweet words to your lover. Think about what things that you guys are co-creating, or what he's creating. What are his prayers? What are your prayers? Pum pum candy for the win. All right. You can go to the link in my bio to order, or you can comment below the word candy and get the link. XOXO, selfish babe. For my goddesses who want to tap into their womb magic for real and are ready to attract whatever the fuck they want. So, bye.
It don't mean it's not hard. He has mentioned multiple times in this podcast episode, it is hard and it's difficult. So why are people neglecting that? Why are people jumping ahead of that? Why are people who probably never even watched the fucking podcast episode coming online and making their think fucking pieces based on what the internet is saying, and saying that this is the only divine union, this is the only sacred union there is? No, it's not. There is never just one way to do something. And I think I particularly get riled up because I can be such a gray person. Black, white, gray bitch. I live in the gray. Because everything is not just this all the time. And so for me, I'm like, can y'all open up your minds just a little bit and see the honesty and truth that he is giving to the world? And I'm grateful they recorded this. And I know this shit wasn't easy, because the attack that has been on him after releasing this, my God, it's crazy. You would have thought he killed somebody, and people out here looking for a murderer. And then even the woman, oh my God, like they have said in the episode multiple times, I am not a victim. But what are the females doing? What are some females doing online? Making Vylana the victim. And she has specifically said in this episode, I'm not a victim, guys. Don't victimize me. I'm not a victim, guys. Don't victimize me. I am choosing. How many times the girl gotta say that for y'all to believe her? It's just fascinating, you guys. And I want to bring up some things. I need to go get my phone. But I love this episode. I'm glad I watched it instead of staying with the internet's fucking opinions. I want you guys to watch it if you have some time, or to listen to it if you are a person that is open to polyamory. And this is not the only couple that has done this. There's another black couple, for my people that are interested in black couples doing this. It's called the Progressive Love Academy by Tanya Stevens and her husband. A black woman who has been doing this, has two husbands, did this with her children. Though the husband has another wife, they have multiple lovers. This can be done. No matter what race you are, this can be done if you are interested in it. But it's only good if you are interested in doing this from an honest perspective. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that shit is not easy. Let me get my other battery. Yeah, y'all, the girls are in uproar. And y'all know I'm a girl's girl. And this is crazy. I feel like y'all not seeing it clearly. Personally, I think the girls is not seeing it clearly. I think they are just so triggered that they just cannot digest how this is possible. And for me, they're mad that Aubrey Marcus has his cake and is eating it too, and that shit is not easy. Just because you're non-monogamous doesn't mean it's easy. There's a lot of, because this is still so fresh and new, that people are honestly saying they're interested in other people and honestly doing that and not lying and hiding, because bro, the amount of married people that are lying and cheating is crazy. Let me put that out there. People talk monogamy all day long, but the husbands and wives is cheating. The husbands and wives is lying. Okay, because they don't want to be honest with their partner because of what they're afraid to lose. Somebody had mentioned, I think it was Erin Lyons, love her by the way, but I did watch her reaction to Aubrey Marcus, and she had said, oh, I don't know why these people just don't stay single. And my response, because I consider myself to be non-monogamous, is the reason why we decide that we just don't stay single is because if we're in a romantic relationship with somebody, we are like, this is my partnership that I'm in with, right? But I'm also open to having other lovers that I may come across in life. It doesn't mean I'm actively going and seeking. Some people do that. I'm talking about me in particular. I'm saying, hey, I may be off at a retreat in a whole nother country, and I may meet somebody and I connect with them, and I'm noticing that there are some feelings that are happening within my body. If I was in a traditional monogamous relationship, I would ignore those feelings and say, I'm not getting close to that person. I'm respecting my partner. If I'm in an ethical non-monogamous relationship, such as polyamory, right? We've already discussed these things with the partner. I may say, hey, boo, I found somebody at this retreat. I think they're cool. I really want to, get to know them, or what you feel about that. And boo is like, you know what? It's cool. Do that. Keep me updated. Because I've already let this person know that I'm non-monogamous. I've told this person from the front that I want to open up the relationship. So for me personally, I'm going to keep my partner up to date. I still very much so love my partner. But what I'm also realizing is that I have love or some emotions that are stirring in my body that I want to explore. I told my partner, now I'm going to explore them. That doesn't mean I'm about to be raw sexing that person that night. That just means I may get to know them. And as I get to know them, if things start to get a little bit more intimate, I may tell that person, hey, I have a boo at home, but they know about this. You know what I'm trying to say? So for me, it's like when people don't understand why don't we just stay single? It's not that you want to be single. It's not that you don't want to acknowledge having a partnership. It's just that there are things and moments in life where you can be in a partnership and you may actually have feelings for somebody else. But usually in monogamy, you ignore them. Or maybe you don't. Some people are lying. Okay? So for me, it's like I want to be able to explore that without having to hold back, and I want to also be honest with my partner. And so for me, it's not, why don't these people just stay single? We don't have to stay single. It's not about being single and just having sex with everybody, because I think some people really reduce polyamory to just sex and to just I don't know, I guess people just don't have the mind for it sometimes. They can't understand. I'm trying to break this down as nicely as possible, but it's like, it's not just a sex thing. It's a deeper search for honesty and truth, and that's what it is for me. I appreciate somebody that can be honest with me and truthful with me, and that is extremely important for me in my romantic relationships. So even before I do get into a romantic relationship, I am going to tell that person, hey, I'm interested in polyamory. So I want to put that out there. Some people don't do that. I will say some things change over time. You may have started out as a monogamous person in a monogamous relationship. Maybe 5 years down the line, you're like, dang, I really want to try polyamory. It is best to be honest with your partner, because your partner may not want to try that, and that's totally okay. But it's best to be honest with your partner. I'm going to put that out there. So it's not about staying single. It's not about fucking everybody you see. It's truly about wanting partnership with somebody, and then also opening up yourself to other partnerships. So I did want to add that because I did watch her breakdown of it, and I wanted to see what the galactic people were saying. But I also wanted to address that because I really think that people look at polyamory or ethical non-monogamy in such a reduced way, and it's kind of disrespectful. It's actually pretty disrespectful. I don't like it. Just because you don't agree with something, just because you can't understand something, doesn't mean that you have to reduce it to something so small just to disrespect it, even if you're unknowingly disrespecting it. Now I want to read something for you guys about what Aubrey wrote on his YouTube channel. I'm going to read what Alana wrote as well, because like I said, the community is up in uproar. The ladies can't take it. And I'm just like, why? I think I was trying to talk about this earlier. Women have been brought up to think my knight in shining armor, my one and only, marriage, kids, white picket fence, that's the end all be all. And I just don't think that's how it fucking works. And as we are changing in time, relationships are changing. There was a person they had brought onto this episode. He kind of overall watches the episode and adds his 2 cents. I think his name is Dr. Mark Gaffney. So he's in the episode as well. But he also talks about relationships changing. And one of the things he opens up the podcast with is the amount of lies and deception that are happening in monogamous relationship, because we cannot deny that. I can't deny that. I've met married men that have told me they've had other girlfriends and all the things, and thought that I was going to be okay with being a part of that. And I was not. I'm not about that. because of the integrity, because of the honesty, because I want to be with somebody that's going to be honest with me and honest with their partner. And so if you're a married man coming to me, interested in me, telling me nope, I'm not doing it, can't do it, because I would never want to be that wife. I would never want to be that wife where my partner is cheating on me and not letting me know, and I'm just living in this fantasy that we're just good. I hate that shit. Don't like it. Can't do it. So for me, as relationships are changing, right? People have desires, whether they're sexual desires, whether it's an intimate desire. And I think from a long time ago, I've realized that monogamy probably wasn't for me. I've been in a monogamous relationship multiple times, guys, and but when I think about long-term partnership, I know that I'm not only going to have sex with one person for the rest of my life first. And I also know from experience that it's possible to be in a relationship and gain feelings for somebody else and nothing be wrong in your relationship. Because I've experienced that before, I said, whoa, this is real. I got to figure out another relationship style that works for me. So that's why ethical non-monogamy, polyamory works for me. It has not been something that I have fully explored yet, like actually doing it. I want to. And so that time will come, y'all. When that time comes, I'll update y'all. I'll let y'all know how it went. But I will say, me being able to be honest like that, especially when I'm talking to men, brings up a lot of honesty with men that I feel like a lot of men don't get to share, because either one, we're not listening as women, two, some women may not be open-minded, and they haven't met an open-minded person like me. And I've had different conversations with different types of men where I may have been approached by them and I tell them, well, this is what it is. And some men are like, wow, I've always wanted to search for a partner like that. I've always wanted to maybe be on the road and meet somebody and tell my wife, hey, what you think? Scout her out for me. What you think? And I approve. And them saying me as like I'm their lover. I approve. Okay, do your thing. And sometimes it's been cool to see that. And then other times it's been, well, I don't want you fucking nobody else. You can't fuck no other man. A lot of the times it's been men saying that I cannot fuck other men. And that's when it becomes one-sided for me, because for me, although I consider myself to be bisexual and I do enjoy women, I was with a woman for 5 years. I'm really about the men right now. But that to me was never fair. And that's why I like Tanya Stevens, which is who I referred. Hopefully one day I have her on a podcast. Is because she's a black woman that has a husband and she sleeps with other guys. And I don't say this like she's like this loose woman on the road, but like, has done this. A lot of times you will meet men that are just not open to you having sex with another guy. Like, it's hard. And so even in this podcast episode, as Aubrey is saying, he allows, I want to say allow like he's their allower person, but he is okay with his lovers taking other lovers, because he says, if I want this, I have to be okay with this too. And I love that. I love when men can play it fair. I love when they can just play it fair. It's like, okay, I want this, or my wife can do this too, or my lover can do this too. And so that's why I say it's not easy, because I would think as a man it may not be easy thinking about your woman being with another dude. Just like it's not easy for me to think about my man being with another girl. Like, that shit is not easy. But why are we doing this? Why are we putting ourselves through this pain and this hurt? Because of honesty, because of clarity, because of knowing somebody truly to their depth, because of allowing somebody to be them and accepting them for them. I think sometimes in relationships we can not really fully accept people for who they are, and they show up to us in a particular way, and if they don't show up in that particular way, then we don't like them anymore. And people lie, people hide. And I think for me, authenticity is so important. It's very important to me, for me to be myself. And so I want my partner to be themselves. And if that means my partner wants to go sleep with somebody else, and we've already talked about it, and I've met the person, we have our own personal protocol, although it may hurt my spirit, my heart, I will say, okay, do your thing. Tell me about it. How was it? How is she? I want to meet the girl. I do. That's me. And if I ever take on a lover, I want you to meet the man. I want you to talk to them. I want you to get to know them a little bit. You don't got to be hunky-dory, but I do want you to meet them. Because honesty is so important to me. Literally because honesty is so important to me. I never thought one and done. You know? And that may change, guys. Like I said, I live in a gray area. That may change for me at some point. I may really meet that person and be like, dang, one and done. Ain't nobody. But I feel like 20 years in that relationship, a bitch gonna want to open it. Like, that's literally how I fucking feel. All right, now let's get to some of the things that have been going on. And also, guys, when I started watching this podcast, the amount of other YouTube think pieces on this subject in a negative way that kind of came up, crazy. So this is the caption that he writes. I think I'm going to pull it up on my phone because it's kind of far and it's a little blurry. Like this one, deception, delusion, and anti-masculinity. Like the shit that have popped up on my feed about this. But there's this one girl, she says, a perspective on polyamory / divine union and sexuality, a response to Aubrey Marcus. God told him to cheat, you know, shit like that. I feel like people wasn't really listening. Oh, look, Aubrey Marcus and his non-radical monogamy. I feel like people weren't really listening to what he was saying for real. And look, somebody's like, Aubrey Marcus, throuple, spiritual shadow, ego, and children. I don't feel like people were really listening, man. And I hate that. I hate when people can't listen to really listen without trying to prejudge. But anyways, this is what it says. He wrote this in his description of the podcast, okay? This is by far the most controversial podcast we have ever released, triggering equal amounts of radical praise, and intense hatred. We read through thousands of comments and ultimately chose to leave the podcast up, but for actual concerns for our own safety, to take the comments down. Something about this wildly intimate and emotional revelation that includes the story of how the sacred union with my wife Vailana expanded to include our beloved Alana, a 28-year-old powerful woman who we esteem as a teacher to us in many ways. Why did it touch such a raw nerve? And that's a real fucking question. What's going on? I think my battery may cut off. I hate that. But perhaps it was the disappointment in the fantasy of Aubrey embodying the reformed polyamory guy, the bad boy who made good, being dashed on the rock of reality. Perhaps not having Vailana's paramour, Joshua, which is her other lover, at the table with us, or one of Alana's lovers she has had during this process, gave us an impression that this was some form of archaic patriarchal polygyny, because it's not polygyny. That's when a man takes on multiple women and they can't have any other lovers. Perhaps it is because in our postmodern world, monogamous union is one of the values that has survived the onslaught of postmodernity. Perhaps it is because I made the mistake of maintaining the repose of a podcast host instead of dropping into the raw feeling tones of my beautiful wife, Vailana. Perhaps it is because there were private details of certain challenging interpersonal dynamics between Vailana and I that were left out of the narrative. Perhaps it is because there is a misinterpretation that the whispers we receive along the way, nudging us towards these constellations, were being claimed as God's will, which of course none of us can claim to know God's will. That's why a lot of people are like, oh, ISIS told him to do this, God told him to do this. He said it multiple times, it may not have been. He wasn't really sure. He said he felt like it was. And I'm kind of happy that he said it like that, but y'all wasn't listening. I don't like that. Y'all just made it seem like he definitely said that. I don't like that. But ultimately, this podcast is not a prescription. We state that many times. It is a description of what has worked for us to allow us to live a life of radical commitment and total freedom. And we have been shocked that so many people who celebrate the beautiful, diverse, non-heteronormative unions have expressed such vitriol and ill will towards all of us, because we dare to ask the question, are relationship structures intended by the cosmos to be a one-size-fits-all? Or do variations actually serve the evolution of love? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Because there are some non-heteronormative relationships, such as trans relationships, they, thems. And although they do get a lot of hate too, boy, the way this man got hate because he was being honest about what's going on in his love life, and also made 2 consenting adults be aware of this honesty, and they decide they wanted to do this. Boy, crazy. Dr. Mark Gaffney, our esteemed teacher, joins us to discuss the cosmic, philosophical, spiritual, and psychological underpinnings behind this configuration of love that we hope will expand the boundaries of what is possible in every dimension of our intimate, personal, and communal political lives. Anyways, y'all, that was his description, and I'm happy that he rewrote it. I'm happy they turned off the comments. I'm happy they kept the podcast episode up, because I'm happy I listened to it, because to see a man go up there and say he is okay with having his wife have sex with other people made me happy, because it made me realize that men out there exist, because I have been praying for that, because I've met a lot of men that I love but they're not okay with that. And so for me, I love it. I'm grateful for the share. I'm happy that I was able to listen to it with an open heart and open mind. And if you guys decide to listen to it, I will put the link below. But yeah, be open-minded if you do listen to it. Don't look at it through the eyes of the internet's opinion. Now, I want to share something that Alana, because I found her on Instagram because they had tagged her in one of the posts. Oh, look at this. So cute. Hold on, let me post a comment. All right. Alana, this. So Alana made a post. I am still rooting down, tending to the present, and allowing the stillness to speak from what our recent podcast stirred. And after waiting for the true yes to arise, it is my desire to share a few personal reflections. I am a 28-year-old sovereign woman who has traveled the world, seen many things, and encountered challenging circumstances that forced me to grow up fast. I have lived a non-traditional life in many ways, where I've had the opportunity to cultivate a radical deep connection to my inner guidance and intuition. This is the place I moved from. I hold a clear understanding and deep compassion for where others who have expressed their worry for me are coming from. Remember, she's 28, y'all. Simultaneously, the thought of someone who has never met me feeling entitled to claim that they know what is best for me, or worse, that I am deceiving myself in some way, truly astonished me. I understand there are deeply ingrained patterns of pain that exist, particularly in the collective feminine, which is why I talked about the feminine, guys, because it's true. I have deep compassion for this, and I ask that you not project your experiences onto me. To deny, dismiss, or gaslight women who are standing in their sovereignty saying, "This is my truth," is, in my opinion, feeding and participating in the exact systems that some claim to be dismantling or saving us from. And she put that in quotations because she's talking about the spiritual feminine collective. A lot of y'all is hating ass hoes, and I'm not sorry. The way that y'all brought this man down, some of y'all claiming to dismantling patriarchy, but the girls themselves said on the podcast this day is fine. They are not victims. They are okay. But y'all still kept projecting the victimization onto them, and they, even her, stating very clearly, "I'm good. I know what the fuck I'm doing." Can y'all honor her truth and not do that? Aubrey and Vylana are the people I profoundly love. I want to be very clear. I am not a victim. I have never been more unconditionally loved, empowered, and seen in a relationship. And what a beautiful miracle that we also get to explore the transformational, complex, and liberating depths that come with also being whole mates. I am completely free and blessed to have another romantic relationship if I desire within this constellation. A devotion to freedom has always been a big part of my life. Same for me, y'all. Same for me. And I can assure you, I am not abandoning that now. This is my beautiful life, and I am proud to be choosing it. I am proud to be using my story, my life journey, to explore the possibilities of the mystery. For it to be an offering to the possibility of new systems that might genuinely serve in another's liberation. You freed me, girl. Actually, I was already free, but I love it. I'm on board. If even just one person ends up feeling empowered to explore what it means to live in their truth, no matter what that is, and safe to be transparent within their desires and need in their relationship to others and to life, then that is a life well lived for me. In my eyes, in this moment, it's not necessarily about what I do in the world, but who I am while I am doing it. I want to thank my entire community who has been there for me through this time of intense exposure. It has only more deeply confirmed what I already know. Not one person who personally knows me has expressed anything but encouragement and support of this love in its 2-year evolution. 2-year evolution, y'all. They just not coming out about it. These are the people who are on the inside of the inside, who are masters and elders and guides in their own right, of all ages, and whose opinion I would genuinely take into consideration if they express any level of concern for my well-being. Anyways, that's basically it, y'all. But I ended up following her. And yeah, y'all, I'm just grateful that she was able to express that. And I was grateful that I saw her post and that she said her age. I think saying her age is extremely important because she does look young. I thought she was like 22 and I was like, dang, she real young. But she's 28 and I don't think that's bad. She's an adult that can make consenting decisions, you know. So anyways, I just wanted to share my piece. I guess I wanted to put out something positive because I felt like this man was getting so much hate and attack. This is me putting something positive out there for them and for my selfish babes that are listening. If y'all want to let me know your thoughts on this, DM me at Olinike Osipawale and let me know your thoughts, or DM me at Selfish Babe, let me know your thoughts, or the Selfish Babe podcast. But yeah, y'all. Love it. Or comment below if you're watching on YouTube, by the way. I'm uploading this as a YouTube video. But yeah, comment below the YouTube video and let me know your thoughts, okay? I love it. Love you guys. Have a good day.
Back with another review on the Poom Poom candies. As you can see, my name was gone. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm surprised I'm not pregnant right now. These things are so fucking great. Like, even if you don't have a problem with moisture or, you know, getting wet or anything like that, add it into your routine and I can guarantee you're going to have the time of your life. It's wetter than a waterfall. It tastes sweet like candy. Like, get you some. And then follow up